Hello, Northstar here with another Singularity Let's Play. This will be quick. I talk about random stuff because this is just a clicker game, so looking for something really interesting gameplay-wise. Watch one of my other Let's Play videos. I just started one on Rise of Nations, and I've also just started a multiplayer Hearts Iron 4 one, two-player one. In addition to, I have a three-player game going with some other people. Excuse me. That I'm hoping to get streaming soon, but it's been really hard to coordinate three people that all have time available in common, since one of the players is younger than the other two of us and in college, and he has, I think, returned to school now, so it's tough. I won't say any more about him because privacy, but it's a little bit, tough to coordinate multiple people. This Let's Play that I've just started with Hearts Iron 4, I'm doing the USA. I'm going to take a communist. I've already screwed up a little bit by suspending the persecution as my second focus in that game, if you know anything about Hearts Iron 4. When I should have moved it for like my fourth or fifth focus, because it reduces your stability. From a roleplay perspective, I mean, yeah, it's good. I think part of what it means to be American is you shouldn't be suspending people, persecuting people for their political beliefs. So, suspend the persecution of socialists, communists, totally makes sense from a roleplay perspective, but from a game mechanicals, especially if I'm going to take the US socialist in that game, like I am planning to. But from a roleplay perspective is different than a mechanical one. It's busy focusing, guiding the other guy who hasn't played the game in ages and has some antiquated ideas, like if your stability goes below 25%, you automatically suffer a civil war. That hasn't been true of Hearts Iron 4 as long as I've ever been playing it, so that must be really old. Or he's thinking of a previous Hearts Iron game, even. Or he's just wrong. But this guy back through how things have changed, or what's new, I don't know. And helping him figure out Mexico, which is a little bit of a more complicated nation. And screwed my own focus store because I didn't see that. The reason I did suspend the persecution right away is so I could get the Ware group early, which is a group of historically, in the era of like the Great Depression, FDR, there were a group of communists in the United States government, secret communists, but the U.S. intelligence agencies, the FBI, originally because the CIA hadn't really formed, knew who they were, and kept tabs on them, so that they could potentially use that as leverage on them if necessary, to get them to support FDR's policies or whatnot. And well, they're actually bureaucrats, but people with some political careers, but still, in case they ever became useful allies for some reason. So the Ware group focus in the game represents, especially, bring them into your government, and you don't have to spend any political power recruiting them because I guess you're blackmailing them. Join my cabinet or I'll out you or arrest you or something. I don't out you as socialist or arrest you. I'm not sure, since you have to spend the persecution first if you can threaten arrest, but clearly you still have some kind of leverage over them. You don't have to spend political power, but I didn't realize you have to do the Agricultural Adjustment Act before you can do that focus, which makes sense since some of them were historically in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I screwed that up. I didn't notice the prereq because I was so focused on Mexico's much more complicated focus tree, and my friend there, and helping him figure out his construction queue order, because he didn't seem to realize the importance of doing industry first or doing a bunch of factories in one state so that the overflow from one factory goes into the next in that line. It's a little more efficient, but the big thing is doing infrastructure. If you build like 3 factories in one state, you can build a level or 2 or 3 of infrastructure first. More than, depends on what infrastructure level states are at, what would be technically optimal. But very early game, you have only like, as Mexico, 3 build states available in the states with the most areas. But that'll increase as you get tech. When you get constraints through 1. It might go up to like 4, 5, and those states also have oil, which is a valuable resource, which the ones I've gotten in the oil rates go to the United States. I just find it helps me a little as I expand my Navy to the point I'll actually need that extra oil to keep just continuously running Navy exercises. And I'll run some air exercises too, so I can get some air doctrines earlier. Well, it's not very cost efficient in terms of industry to do that. And so if he ends up in a civil war, there's a few ways Mexico can. I'm trying to get limited intervention relatively early on, and then I'll lease some stuff. Do that with a communist run, you end up blocking your communist advisor, so you need to have a lot of communism support already, because you won't be able to ever increase it further after you start the limited intervention path. You get one focus that can increase it by, I think it's 25 or 35%, and switch to communist if you're over 35% support. So if you get up to like timing rate with elections, if you get up to like 57% or 64 or something around that range, and then run that focus, you'll probably have pretty good support, even though you'll never reach 100% in that game. Pay a stability cost for being able to do both. You'll never be able to make up entirely in ruling party popularity in exchange for being able to combine the communist focuses with limited interventionism. And then you can also avoid a civil war if you're willing to take another stability hit, which I'm planning on doing that. So since I know my stability is going to be lower than normal for a US game, I really should have waited to suspend the persecution a little, because that reduces your stability, and stability affects political power, and come on and be short political power the whole game. From a roleplay perspective, it was the right thing to do right away, even before the Works Progress Administration, which was historically helped start to deal with the Great Depression, but it wasn't very effective. It was more of a symbolic thing. People on welfare will get them to come and build some public buildings. Didn't really have much economic utility. It was like student unions at universities, public meeting houses, trail projects. It was stuff to improve people's quality of life a little, but it didn't help get the economy going again. And it wasn't even in exchange for like increased benefits. People was mostly, instead of just giving you money and you'll be unemployed because it's the Great Depression, you'll come and do free labor, and then we'll give you unemployment, and you'll, quote, build some work skills doing construction projects. Not really. We never needed that many construction people. I mean, I'm sure a few people discovered a passion for construction work from WPPA, because most of it was construction projects on public buildings. But for the most part, it was just a way to politically justify giving people welfare without it just being free money. And in the game, it just gives you political power. But it doesn't cost you stability like suspend the persecution does, so taking that historical focus earlier would have been good, because I'll need the political power before I can hire the communist advisor, which you can do once you suspend the persecution, but you have the political power, which I didn't. For those who don't play Hearts of Iron 4, this is probably very obscure, but focus ore is an important thing, and I already messed up, but whatever. It's a fairly casual game. It's just running through fairly fast. It's easier to mentally, at least for me, justify doing that. A really casual game when it's just me and one other person. I'm taking it less seriously than, say, the 3-player game I have going, because I don't want to let down the other 2 guys. I'm like that. Even with my long COVID and my difficulty focusing, I don't like letting people down. It's not like my single player Let's Play for YouTube, where I played Germany Communist Path Spartacus League, which is like almost democratic socialist. They embrace democratic institutions, though the focus for that is bugged. But I've got very detail oriented in that, and still messed up stuff in the run with like focus order. Same. I seem to too often I realize my mistakes after I sort of whenever you live, you learn. If I ever do these countries again, I'll know not to make the same mistakes. For those who don't play Hearthstone 4, I've also the Rise of Nations Let's Play is good. I've decided to do a quick Conquer the World campaign as Japan before trying the Cold War scenario, which I have memories of trying to do. It's challenging, it's interesting, I think. And then maybe some random skirmishes, some multiplayer games with friends. I wish you could do like a multiplayer of the Conquer the World, at least the generic one, with friends, but you can't, I don't think. So I'll be enjoying some of that game. It's a game that came after Age of Empires 2 and Empire Earth. I'd say it's better designed game than either of those, although I love Empire Earth as well, and I've never been a huge fan of Age of Empires 2. It's too janky at times, you have nonsense like you have catapults, the fire a shot, fall back 5 feet and fire another shot, and that's completely unrealistic. Rise of Nations catapults have a deploy time, which is pretty long, and leads to them being used the way they should be used as siege weapons. Not as janky, rapid-fire machine guns that can shoot and pull back and shoot. Like motorized artillery almost in the real world. Except people didn't start putting artillery in trucks until we had trucks, which obviously didn't exist in the Middle Ages. I'll be revisiting my Vampire Let's Play soon enough, because it's been a while since the last video, my Avorion one, where I'm just steadily... I've been super excited about that, because the early game is slow, and at this point, all I'm doing there is mining stuff, upgrading my ship a little, mining some more. Soon enough, I have to figure out how to completely delete my entire ship, reclaim all resources. I have to manually delete every single part, and without killing the crew that's in it, just rebuilding instantly the whole ship into a new design, because I grandfathered in a lot of bad design choices just to build a ship real quick. Not bad for starting my first ship in the edges of the galaxy in that game, where you don't have anything better than titanium as a resource, but now they have availability of shield generators. I'd want to build a new ship that relies less on armor and more on shields. And as you get better materials, the balance between like engine size and other stuff, it changes. So point is, I'll have to redesign my ship there, and that I'm not looking forward to, because I'm not sure I can do that without manually deleting every part. I didn't have the foresight to save a version of the ship that was just one block, so I could overwrite the ship with that template and without leaving the editor, because that would instantly most of my crew dying due to not having any space for them to exist in. Well, I would overstretch the life support and they would die over a matter of minutes, not instantly, but and then rebuild a big ship with obviously enough room for all the crew I had on it. That's something that's gonna have to happen there. My Wildermyth Let's Play, I like that game, but you folks don't seem to like it. I haven't got enough viewers, so I haven't been pushing that one a lot lately. It's a really lovely game, and I'll do a bunch of campaigns in that, but it seems time and I'm hoping it'll catch on at some point. It's just a game I can bear to do a lot of streaming because I really like it, but in the end, if it's just not getting the viewers, I can't do it forever. I have to grow my channel. For those of you who don't know anything about me, haven't heard me say it again before, I have long COVID. The Social Security Administration is fucking me over, because they're not counting like more than half of my work history towards earnings. They don't I don't mean like there's some rule. I mean they just don't have it, and they're not letting me, as far as I can tell from the state policies, they can't update it because it's been more than 40 months since those jobs. Even though it's like in my mid-20s, there's no way I was going to be checking the Social Security website to see if they had the correct earnings statement stuff and fixing it. And even though I had the records to correct it for at least some of the jobs and could get the rest, they're not going to let me, I suspect. They're going to say, oh, it's too late, and then, oh, you don't have enough work credits for disability. No, I do. I have enough work credits, or at least I earn them. You're just fucking me out of them, because things. Your soulless bureaucrats enforcing policies made by greedy politicians. It's not that the bureaucrats are bad people, it's that they go into these jobs and they're subjected to policies made by greedy sellout politicians who often are bad people, unlike the bureaucrats. And when they have to continuously hurt people in their job every day, they're forced to kind of just swallow everything that made them a good person and get with the program, or they end up quitting because they just can't do it. So that they don't start off as bad people, but they become bad people, or they at least become people who are apathetic and jaded and don't give a shit and think they can't change anything. They can. They can choose to quit, or they can choose to intentionally disrupt the status quo that's fucking people and wrong until they get fired, but by continuously raising protests about the injustices that might hurt their future career. But it may be the right thing to do when you have people getting literally fucked out of disability they've earned, or retirement with some people who don't have a lot of work history, I'm sure. When you have a system that's unjust, even as the rules are written. For instance, if someone went to college, went to med school, wasn't working much that whole time because they were focusing on their studies, and then got hit by a car and disabled a couple years out of med school while they were a resident, they wouldn't qualify for disability per the state rules because they didn't have enough work history. Not everyone works in school. I did enough that I should be qualified for disability if they had the jobs I worked in school, plus the jobs I did the first year after. Or actually, not the first year, but the first working year. It was actually the year I graduated. Wasn't able to get jobs that calendar year, but the next calendar year I had 5 jobs. And they only have one of those listed. Like, they only have the exact amount of money listed in earnings that I made in that one job and not the other 4. So it pisses me off. There were so many because a lot of them were temp jobs. Temporary in the sense of cleaning out a factory, which was an inherently temporary thing. Once the factory was cleaned, it was done. A seasonal test grading job. Came in near the end of the normal season when I got hired. They liked me so much they did a special bonus season. They had ended up getting one more contract, and they brought me in because I was one of their best people. But after that, they were out of work until like a year from then. And so I moved on to other things. Worked at a pharmacy, worked at a restaurant, and worked at a coffee shop the rest of that calendar year. And they only have the earnings from the pharmacy job and none of the other ones at all listed. Should all add up to just enough work credits, but not much room for error. And if they're missing as many jobs as they are, they made 2 shy. 18 credits, so I should be at like 21. And I needed 20. I don't know. I've contacted some social worker type people to try and get their help dealing with the Social Security Administration. And maybe it's easier than I think to appeal injustices like this, but I don't know. I do know that I need to get this YouTube channel to the point I can earn ad money from it. Is the reason I mentioned all this, because I may never be able to get the disability that I should be entitled to. My dreams of becoming a physician were crushed just shy of becoming a medical student. As an MD student, I was doing a master's in medical school, a special master's, doing amazing in it. Was definitely getting into a medical school. This is after some time working, not getting to med school when I applied, then deciding I needed this extra qualification a special master's provide, knowing it'd probably be overkill, but there was no intermediate between doing a whole ass special master's and not doing anything more at all that was really available to me. So I probably had to get like at least a B+ average in the special masters to be able to get into an MD, and I ended up getting straight A's, doing way better than even I expected to, because I'd been like an undergrad B+ student. I got a straight 4.0 until I got long COVID, and the school screwed me over. They took me a while to figure out that my not feeling better from COVID infection was long COVID. And they said, oh, we have no retroactive withdrawal policies. It's too late in the semester. And they turned that last semester into Fs, even though I would have had Bs just from the work I'd already finished before I got sick. But it was one of those types of classes where if you don't do the final project, it's an automatic F. even though the percentage of like grading I done was like B's to C's already, because special project wasn't that much of the weighting of the class. It was just an automatic fail if you didn't do it. So I was very close to the special projects in the last semester classes. I was almost done with the program when I got long COVID, and the vaccine was already out, but only for people who were super sick, who had special health conditions that hadn't yet become available for healthy adults in my state. I mean, they rolled out slightly different times in different states, but for me, I wasn't able to get the vaccine yet. It became available like 2 months after, 1.5 to 2 months after I got COVID for healthy adults. So I almost made it through, but my roommate came back from a business trip with a COVID infection, crossed multiple state lines, then didn't tell me he was sick until he'd been already home for over an hour. Wouldn't like leave or anything, even though he was putting my life at risk, because COVID kills. I'd had COVID once before, and he didn't believe you could get more once. I tried explaining him, yes, you can, and I did. Though by the math, I avoided getting infected for about 10 days, being stuck quarantined with him, because as soon as my university found out he was sick, they had to report it. Like, you're supposed to report if you come into contact with anyone. Then they quarantined me in my apartment with my roommate. They told me, like, even though they had no technical, wasn't a university apartment or anything, they had to quarantine with him. And 10 days later, I must have gotten exposed, because 13 days later I started showing symptoms, and there was like a 3-day incubation period. So for 10 days I managed to avoid infection. If he just turned around and left when I told him to, I would have been fine, but nope. He crossed all his state lines. He should quarantine in place, or at least got in a hotel like in town, or he wouldn't have been exposing me for all that time. And I would have had a life. I would have become a physician, but no. Roommates fucked me over. So, and bad luck fucked me over. And the fact that, I don't know, there's probably something wrong with my health before that pre-existing condition. I had this cough since I was 20, and I think there's, since I seem to get sick a lot, I suspect there might be some, like, tried to put together simplest explanation, most likely be true. Why would I have a cough and get sick a lot? It's either like a mild form of cystic fibrosis or connective tissue disorder that affects the immune system and the lungs both, are my guesses for what it, but I had some pre-existing condition problem my whole life, and had some issues when I was a kid too, so I was probably more vulnerable to long COVID than most, but that's a bit of bad luck. So that, plus the roommate's behavior, I got COVID, I got long COVID, and now I have a massive amount of student loan debt. The university did the humiliating thing of turning that last semester into F's when I had straight A's, ruining my perfect 4.0 GPA, and I doubt they'll let me erase that even if there's ever a cure for long COVID, and they even let me back in the program. Which I shouldn't have to explain that way. I did nothing wrong. It's not my fault that they don't, like most major universities, have a retroactive withdrawal policy where something really bad happens like that. Too late in the semester to normally withdraw. You can retroactively do it. It exists specifically for things like unexpected illnesses and disability. That's why schools have that policy. But this one didn't. So they claim their hands were tied, and the only thing they could do is what they did. Well, they gave me extensions for all finishing classes. I was just too sick. I have trouble focusing, and I can't think clearly with academic stuff. Heck, I have trouble just focusing what I'm saying here, if you're listening to me. And high-level academics I was doing, I just could not focus to do the special project. I could not think clearly. Maybe if I had been able to get Adderall, which helps with the long COVID energy right away, it would have also helped with that focus. Maybe I could have finished it, but I've still haven't managed to get it even after a psychiatrist, neurologist, he's like cross-disciplinary guy who deals with long COVID, recommended Adderall. I still haven't been able to get the prescription, because he says he doesn't do the prescriptions himself, rely on the PCP. The PCP wanted me to try sleep medicine first, because I also have trouble sleeping before combining with Adderall, and I still on the sleep, still waiting to get another appointment to say, okay, the sleep thing didn't help that much to sleep, didn't make me that sleepy during the day, can you just give me the bloody Adderall so I can focus? And then maybe I'll have a better shot of getting my life back together, even though I'm still sick. Because it's a stimulant for people who don't have ADD, and I need that stimulant effect. My long COVID, it should still help focus some, I think. Long COVID brain fog makes it hard to focus. But nope, still haven't been able to get Adderall. Anyways, probably want to hear about my problems, audience. So Rise of Nations, Hearts Iron 4 video series that I now have 2 going in parallel. Avorion, Wildermyth, Vampire. I'll be getting back around to Potion Craft. For some reason, that is my most popular Let's Play series. Gosh, if I know why. It's an okay game. It's very chill, so I like to play it when I want something very chill. Maybe that's what appeals to folks. It's such an incredibly chill game. And I tend to have a low energy streaming style, so it probably matches up with that. And I probably just unintentionally found a niche. But if you folks like it, good for you. It's a good game. I can't personally imagine watching someone else play it for an hour, but I guess some people can. Power to you. I'm more of a doer than a watcher in all things in life, so I mean, I can stream Let's Plays and enjoy it, but I've never been big on watching them, which is kind of a shame, because if I liked watching more, I'd probably have better ideas about how to do better as a streamer. If I spent time before I started trying to do this, like just for my own pleasure. Anyways, let's see. I haven't touched Pop-Up Dungeon in a while. It'll be a while probably before I return to that Let's Play series. Excuse me. Trying to think what I might be forgetting. Eventually I'll do Stellaris. Eventually I'll do Stellaris. I might just start off by jumping into a long-running, much older version of the game save I've got going. Stream that, see if people want to see that before I start a whole new campaign, throwing out all my progress just to find no one watches it, maybe. And they're coming out with Stellaris 4.0, so it might be better to wait a new Let's Play until that's been out and bug fixed for a while. But there aren't too many Let's Plays out on that yet, and then it'll be new. The same way I wait for Gotthardamren to start Let's Playing Hearts Iron. Probably do a SimCity 4 eventually. I just gotta look up how to reinstall the mods I was using for my previous save of that. Reinstall them. Elder Scrolls Morrowind, similar thing. Well, the mod package I had for that is very easy to reinstall, so it shouldn't take me nearly as long as the network add-on mod for SimCity 4, which is much more finicky and harder to install correctly. Let's see. Other upcoming Let's Plays. I've got a whole list on my channel description if you guys look. I want to see what things I might be streaming in the near-ish future. I've got a lot of games that I may be returning to, haven't played in a while, or haven't even tried that I own. I'll eventually try and gotta grow this channel, and I'm sure folks get bored if I stream the same games over and over, so. Alright, well anyways, this video's gone long enough. I don't want the upload to be too long. Just about ready to log off this game. Briefly doing War of the Rings Online daily, and then I should probably get to my Rise of Nations stream, unless the guy Hearts Iron 4 multiplayer is ready to pick that back up. What am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I can't think of it, so, I'm sure you've all had the experience of knowing you're forgetting something, but not knowing what it is. Whatever. Viewers, I wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. make the world better, but don't beat yourselves up if you can't. Sometimes take the opportunities when they come. And may you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Until next time, wish you all the best.